Nigerian government is facing criticism for maintaining the 33,000 naira monthly stipend for National Youth Service Corps, that's NYSC members, despite a recent announcement to increase it to 77,000 naira. NYSC Director General, Brigadier General Yushau, Ahmed, explained that the delay is due to the government not releasing the necessary funds, leaving corps members disappointed. Hold that reason. The situation has led to widespread frustration on social media, with corps members voicing their dissatisfaction over their unfulfilled promise. Meanwhile, Niger State Governor Mohammed Umaru Bago stepped in to provide a 200,000 naira bonus for corps members in the state, adding or aiming to elevate the financial burden. However, there's no timeline for that, so they don't even know when to expect it. But let's go back to the national one, the one that concerns, all the corps members in Nigeria. Look at the reason that was mentioned. The government has not released these funds, and that's what the corps members are supposed to understand.
When I hear things like this, it sours my mood. That's the truth. We've talked about NYSC here so many times. And as for me, I've said it, scrap this thing if it's not working. Take it off. The aim is probably...
Scrap the NYSC.
But you said if you ask my reason for scrapping it...
No, I'm not even going to ask your reason now. You already gave your reason.
I'm giving my reason separately on this show.
You just did. You said if it's not working, and that's a reason.
So there's an aim for NYSC. We've had issues of insecurity, this, that.
Yes, but does it mean we'll conclude that the NYSC scheme is not working?
How is it working?
Is it not?
Give me 4 or 5 advantages of the NYSC scheme, and I'll agree with you it's working. I will give you 10
No, you don't have to agree with me. It's your thought, entirely your thought.
So on the other end, you begin to ask yourself. I ask myself, when I sit down in this country, I ask myself some questions. The force and speed at which we enforce some things, where do we keep that same force and speed when relevant issues are brought up? We wanted to change the national anthem. It happened in this. Before you can say Jack Robinson, all schools were already singing the new national anthem. We wanted to implement this and that for senators. Before you could say Jack Robinson, it was in their bank account already. Mr. President wanted to buy a new private jet amidst the presidential fleet that we have. He said he wanted a new one. They passed it in seconds. Where is that same zeal for passing bills when minimum wage comes up, when electricity tariff comes up, when NYSC comes up? Where is that same zeal? Where is it? So it tells you that we have a bunch of leaders who are inconsiderate and insensitive about the plight of the people. These are corps members. Most of them are I can tell you that up to 50% of them are depending on just that allowance for their sustenance. Most of them come from poor backgrounds. And they are going to depend on that. And then you now make a promise, you increase the minimum wage, you increase fuel price. These corps members are paying transport. These corps members, if they are in a place where there is no fuel, they are burning petrol.
Recently, we had the FG reach out to states that have not implemented the minimum wage, and then for their workers. And now it begs the question: what is happening with the federal government now and paying corps members the new, should I call it minimum wage now?
Yeah, it's the new minimum wage.
The president actually announced it. This is way more than that. 77,000 is more than that. The new price. What is going on? What is what is halting the process? And when you look at the excuse or the reason, as we would call it, it's because the government has not released it. But now I don't know why I call them students now. The NYSC, the corps members are asking more questions, because if you don't explain to them, it means that you're leaving them in confusion. And if you go online and see what these people are saying, you'd realize that aside what you've said, you definitely see that people need this thing.
See, let me tell you. It's sad, but I'll tell you the truth. The perception of Nigeria is bad.
In what aspect?
I was speaking to a 10 years old yesterday. this girl was telling me that this country, a small girl, 10 years, this country is useless, this country is nonsense.
You know what I get from that?
All.
We should be careful what we say around
And
children.
because
Because
they are seeing the news.
Aside seeing the news, you still channel it down to what is being said around.
They are going to school. They are seeing the news. Their teachers are suffering.
What happened to the renewed hope agenda?
What renewed hope agenda are we renewing? As the renewed hope
Well,
agenda
you're the one who has been talking about
increasing this
orientation.
and this and that and that. The renewed hope agenda
Aren't
is
you
only
talking against orientation right now?
No,
we
no,
need to
I'm
give
not
the
talking-
children
I'm not
the right to
talking against
what don't you think we're raising people who are not optimistic when it has to do with Nigeria?
See, travel with your passport. You realize that Nigeria is not what we are talking on this table. Nigeria has gone down. Just travel. I travel and my passport is presented, and then they begin to, the immigration is coming to question. Look at my passport, it's green passport. It's a sour notion that has gone out. And these core members that you are seeing have a huge social influence. They're online. They are tweeting, the world is seeing it. So I'm giving a direct call to Mr. President. If you feel that you have the interest of your people at heart, then you should, as a matter of urgency, instruct the relevant ministries and parastatals to swing into action to ensure that the NYSC core members get their allowances as promised. Because Mr. Director General has said, we have the willingness to do this, but he gave a reason. The federal government has not released the funds. So the funds for this has to be released by the federal government before the NYSC can be called to blame. At the moment now, funds have not been released. If the president is very, very proactive, as he claims to be, or if the president is very considerate about his people, then these are the young, let's use the words they always say. These are the future of tomorrow. These are our leaders of tomorrow. Get them into right shape, because the truth is that the more things don't work for you as a Nigerian, the more sour your idea of Nigeria becomes.